I just want to give you a bit of sort of background underneath this so that you understand what this is about and understand how to interpret it, okay? Because you're going to be doing a lot of solving equations, so you want to know like what it's about. Okay? What is an equation? No, seriously, what is an equation? Well, it's got the it's got that prefix in it, right? E-Q-U-A, which comes from the word equals, right? So an equation is a statement. It's a statement, but it's not just any statement. It's a statement about things that are equal, right? Which is why an equation, to be an equation, it has to have an equal sign, right? So an equation is a statement about things that are equal. So why does this come under the topic of algebra, right? Well, we could say an equation is a numerical statement, and we've known tons of these, right? Really basic ones, just with numbers. So for instance, we could say 2 times 3 equals 6. That's a statement about two things that are equal. 2 times 3 is the same as 6, right? Or maybe 6 times 1, just to make it slightly more interesting, okay? But the whole point of algebra is that sometimes you want to work with numbers, but you don't know what they are. And that was our whole introduction to algebra at the start of the year, okay? So the idea would be something like this. We would say 2, whatever pronumeral you like, maybe something like t. 2t is equal to 6. That is still a statement about two things that are equal, right? It's just that at the moment, as the way it's phrased, we don't know what t is. We'd have to do some work on it in order to solve it, okay? In this case, what would we do? If I wanted to know what t was, what could I do to both sides of the equation? I could divide by 2, right? Is that what you're going to say? Yeah. I'm actually going to write, I know you could do it directly, but I'm going to write divide by 2, okay? Now I'm making a big point of this because if an equation is a statement about things that are equal, that's why if you do something to one side, you've got to do it to the other. Otherwise, they won't be equal anymore. It won't be an equation. You'll get something else, like an inequality or something like that. So, the most frequent phrase you'll see is solve this equation. But there are some other phrases that mean the same thing. Okay. So, for instance, you might see the phrase determine the solution. Right? When I follow on from this line, you told me to divide by 2, right? The 2's over here is cancel, and 6 divided by 2, of course, is 3, right? So t equals 3 is the solution to this equation. I kind of like to think of it like a key that kind of unlocks it. And there's all kinds of other keys, like say t equals 2, t equals 1. You can try it on this equation, but it won't unlock because it's not the solution. You get determine the solution. Sometimes it'll be find the value of. And yeah, it just depends on what you've got. It might be an x, it could be a t, it could be any pronumeral you like. The point is, algebra, right? You've got something you don't know what it is, and you want to work out how big it is. Okay. One last common phrase that you'll get, which is very, very similar to this one here, is evaluate or find the unknown. Okay. So the unknown is whichever pronumeral or pronumerals you have in there, okay? And evaluate just means, well, actually it literally means find the value of, okay? So anytime you see any of these phrases or solve the equation, that's what you're after. You kind of want to get the pronumeral on its own. One more I should have added. Make whatever, x, t, s, whatever letter they choose, make it the subject. An equation, right? It says this equals this. So the subject of the equation is whatever's there on the left-hand side. Okay. In this case, wow, it really worked. T is the equation of the subject. Okay.